Dear brothers and sisters, I welcome you all to hear and see this video message. In this video, I explain Brahmins give up beef eating habits by hegemony of Buddhism. Content for this video I given in the description. You can go through and study. With the rise of agricultural economy and the massive transformation occurring in society, changes were to be brought in the practice of animal sacrifice also. At that time there were ritualistic practice like animal sacrifice with which Brahmins were identified. Buddha attacked these practices. Buddha intervened and stopped him. His rejection of animal sacrifice and emphasis on non-injury to animals assumed a new significance in the context of a new agriculture. The emphasis on non-violence by Buddha was not blind or rigid. Emperor Ashok, after converting Buddhism, did not turn to vegetarianism. He only restricted the number of animals to be killed for the royal kitchen. So where do matters change, and how did the cow become a symbol of faith and reverence to the extent of assuming the status of the motherhood? Over a period of time, mainly after the emergence of Buddhism, or rather as an accompaniment of the Brahminical attack on Buddhism, the practices started being looked on with different emphasis. The threat posed by Buddhism to the Brahminical value system was too severe. In response to the low cost slipping away from the grip of Brahminism, the battle was taken up at all the levels. At philosophical level, Sankara reasserted the supremacy of Brahminical values. At political level, King Pushyamitra Shung ensured the physical attack on Buddhist monks. At the level of symbols, King Shashank got the Bodhi tree where Gautama the Buddha god Enlightenment destroyed. One of the appeals to the spread of Buddhism was the production of cattle wealth, which was needed for the agricultural economy. In a way, while Brahminism succeeded in banishing Buddhism from India, it had also to transform itself from the animal sacrifice state to the one which could be in the tune with the times. It is here that this ideology took up the cow as a symbol of their ideological march. But unlike Buddha, whose pronouncements were based on reason, the counter-action of Brahminical ideology took the form of a blind faith based on assertion. So while Buddha's non-violence was the preservation of animal wealth for the social and compassionate reasons, the counter was based purely on symbolism. So while the followers of Brahminical ideology accused Buddha of weakening India due to his doctrine of non-violence, he was not a cow worshipper or vegetarian in the current Brahminical sense. The beef eating habits of Indians, which existed in Vedic times and continued till the 19th century and after repeated Brahminical injunction against cow killing, that ancient Hindus, including Brahmins, were beef eaters, willing to incur the minor penalty that agrarian society began imposing on cow killers, and that this fondness for beef had nothing to do with Islam or Christianity, but repeated Brahminical injunctions not to kill cows reflected a popular proclivity for beef. History unearthed irrefutable evidence of cow slaughter and consumption by Hindus of all classes, including Brahmins, until as late as the 19th century. The killing of cows stopped gradually with the agrarian society and caste rigidity. The Brahmins found it convenient to say that those who ate beef were untouchable, but they themselves continued to consume it, recommending it for the occasions such as Satrat. Simultaneously, Brahmins trivialized the beef taboo by saying that eating beef is like cleaning your teeth with your fingers. It was never a sin to eat it, merely an decorum. There was never a taboo, only discouragement. But now Brahmins makes the cow become a tool of mass political mobilization with the organized cow production movement with Hindutva ideology. Historically, all Indian masses, including the Brahmins, used to eat beef both in what is called the Vedic and the post-Vedic period. Gautama Buddha rebelled against this tradition because during his time there was a huge consumption of beef by the priestly class. Buddha asked people not to kill cows for sacrifice, not to kill beyond what they needed for consumption. From that stage to the modern period, most of the untouchables, for instance the Dalits in South India, sustained themselves on beef in summer when there is used to be massive food scarcity. They would eat even dead or diseased cattle. Beef ban is an attempt to impose upper caste culture on the other Hindus. This cultural imposition were granted from the later Shaivic tradition with Sankaracharya. This was in response to Buddhists being beef eaters and practicing certain food restraints. Buddhists were never vegetarians. Buddhism in China, Japan, Korea allows multicultural food. They eat pork, beef and don't consider any food culture taboo. The real vegetarians were the Jains. But to counter the so-called theory of violence of Buddhists, Sankaracharya started a vegetarian campaign among Brahmins and upper caste. It was this campaign of Sankaracharya that turned the Brahmins of South India much before those of North India into vegetarians. Bible talks about that Brahmins' hypocrisy on non-vegetarians. In Colossians chapter 2 verse 21 to 23. Don't eat this, don't taste that, don't touch that. These rules are talking about earthly things that are gone after they are used. They are only human commands and teachings. These rules may seem to be wise as part of a made-up religion in which people pretend to be humble and punish their bodies, but they don't help people stop doing the evil that the sinful self wants to do.